Four against darkness. Makes sense. Tomorrow, when you go into work and your boss says, hey, could you, by the end of the week, can you confront your inner darkness for me? You say, sure, boss, I'm right on top of it, because you know the rules. If you want to be successful in business and somebody asks you if you could do something, you say yes, and then you figure out how. And confronting the deepest, darkest, shadowed parts of yourself is no different. But I will tell you this. If my boss says that, no way am I doing that alone. I'm going to the other cubicles. I'm getting 3 of my best work friends, and we're going to confront darkness together. And that is probably not the premise of this game, but Four Against Darkness, a solitaire dungeon-delving pen and paper game. But man alone, I watched your video 3 months ago, your click grabbing tier list video. And on that video, you said that you didn't like Four Against Darkness. Well, to be specific, to be fair, I said it was fine and I probably would not play it again. I will admit, however, that the comments I received on that they didn't convert me, but they made me consider that maybe the way I was approaching this game was not the right way to approach or appreciate it. And essentially what those who supported it said was that you can't think, and I'm kind of summarizing all of their comments here, you can't think of it as a single game. It's more of like a modular collecting experience. And some people really collect. I think, and there's a lot of them. Just right here, I have Four Against the Great Old Ones. I have Echoes of the Dead. And now, today, in the video, we're going to talk about Treacheries of the Troublesome Towns, Tome 1 and 2. So there's a lot of them. And what they would say is, look, it's more modular. You gotta, the excitement, the discovery, all of that comes from building out your 4AD universe. And, one of my major, not a criticism, but just preference-wise, what I had said was, if I were to sit down and read 4AD, right, how many pages here? If I was to read all 90 pages of this from start to finish, and I was to really pay attention the whole time, with given how much I pay attention while reading, I'd have to read it probably 3 times to get everything. But I read every single word. Then what I was saying was, there is nothing that could happen in this game that I do not already know about. There is no weapon that I can find that will blow me away. There is no enemy that I could confront that totally takes me off guard, because play it long enough and you'll get all the weapons, all of the enemies, buy everything from the shops. And to me, that is interesting in as much as a board game is interesting, or a linear video game that has, like a start and an end, which apparently no video games have anymore. They just keep going forever. But the idea that perhaps the novelty, the surprise, the discovery is in buying additional pieces of this puzzle was mildly interesting to me. But the other thing that was also a hang-up of mine is the lack of role playing, because for me, even if I build out 1,000 of these books, I'm still not able to do some of my favorite things, which is like solo RP dialogue, create a sequence of events, generate quests. And it's not just about like you can generate quests, but it's very specific. Like the options are limited. Whereas if you're playing a game in which quest generation has to do with thematic or symbolic inputs, right? So if you're playing a game that says your quest is trying to find something. Well, I'm not going to fire, clothing, bakery. All right. I like games that give me fire, clothing, and bakery as inputs. And then from that, I have to induce a quest from that, creatively, rather than saying, your quest is to go to this town, retrieve this specific thing, come back here. Like, that just seems more limited. And there seem to be no opportunities for that in 4AD. And so even though I think those comments made me maybe shift it back into the we'll give it another spin at some point column, it was not until I saw the Treacheries of the Troublesome Towns come out that I said, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for me to revisit this, because is it a possibility that in these books there is enough random generation, or maybe there's even some new mechanics that will allow me to infuse myself and my ideas and my improvisations, my alchemy. That's really the word I'm looking for. I want to alchemize. I don't just want to build. I want to alchemize. And so I thought that this might be something that we would look at and evaluate the potential of it. I've just breezed through it a little bit, so I can't promise that there will be that there, because I've had this one for a while. I ordered 2 of these from Amazon, which was my first mistake, and they gave me 2 of the same book, so then I had to return one of them, and they let me keep it, it's so awesome when Amazon does that, when they're like, yeah, it would cost more for you to send the book back, so just keep it. And then, but it took a longer time for tome 1. I was confused at why there are 2 of these. I'm a little less confused. I think I get it, but it's still maybe a little weird. When I first got this, I only intended to get one of them. And I was like, well, I'll kind of see what the deal is with this and see if I want another one. But it says that, let's see. This is the book you've been waiting for. Treacheries of Troublesome Towns is divided into 2 tomes. Tome 1 covers rules to generate towns. Tome 2 collects all the tables and secrets to be discovered. You need both books to play. Okay? Includes modular rules for arsons, banking, benedictions, coups, curses, ethnicity, foods, forbidden books, friendship, hometowns, house amenities, impersonators, and inquisition, insurrections, investigations, jail, jealousy, love, marriage, mercenaries, money-making, monstrous retainers, murder, noble privileges, pregnancy, recruitment, seduction, ships, strumpetry, taxes, temples, thieving actions, time management, trading, turmoil, traveling between towns, winter, and more. What is strumpetry? Is that stump speaking? Let's look it up. I'm going to look it up for real. Strumpetry. No entries found for strumpetry. It's strumpetry, not... What is Okay, well, what's a strumpet? Strumpetry is not found either. I think I know what a strumpet... Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I am scandalized by this. Wow. Okay. That is the most, what do they call that? Euphemistic way of talking about that? Okay, so apparently that's in this game. Okay. It's an interesting choice. Optional rules to generate quarreling factions, twists, treacheries, including villain masterminds and their machinations. Optional rules for weird towns, aquatic, mono-ethnic, invaded, nether, and based on pre-drawn maps. conversion to and from D20 and OSR games. Requires 4 Against Darkness and 4 Against the Abyss. Oh, damn it. I don't have 4 Against the Abyss. Do I have 4 Against? I didn't know that. One moment. All right, well, I guess you need 4 Against the Abyss as well, which I'm looking at it now. It's just that 4 AD is for like levels 1 through 4, and I think 4 Against the Abyss is if you have higher level characters. So this would be levels 5 to 9. So let's look through it and see if this is even something that's more up our alley. But then apparently Tome 2... so this one's way easier to read. This one, Tome 1 covers the rules to generate towns. Tome 2 regroups all the tables in Book of Secrets. You need both to play. That's in bold. In this book, you'll find Book of Secrets. I guess they ditched the alphabetical here. Book of Secrets, unique characters and new skills, tables for shop events, twists, tavern events and rumors, monsters, pests, thieves, men-at-arms, rabble, troublemakers, inquisition, impersonators, and a bestiary. Tables for audiences, factions. Okay, so there's no strumpetry. Oh my God, there is strumpets. I don't need that. I'm okay. Thank you. All right, so from what I can tell here, it was one of those things where I was like, why are there 2 books? And then I looked and I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. This one has like the information that is revealed in the things set up here. But then I stopped and I was like, why do I need 2 books for that? Like, why couldn't this have just been 1 book? So, I mean, I guess I don't mind assuming that 1 book would have cost relatively the same. I guess it's okay to like have all of the things separated. It's just I kind of, it's not a big deal, but I have a little bit of an axe to grind about stuff like this, where it feels like I get something and then suddenly I realize that I don't actually have what I need. And I'm also curious about if they got released at generally the same time. So maybe those who are in the 4AD crowd have a little bit more info on that. Because it's like, okay, if there's secrets in here, which is pretty cool, like I like that actually in terms of what I'm looking for in solo gaming. I want there to be things that I discover. And so I suppose one way to do it is like saying, you're not going to find out what happens in this tavern until you get the second book and look on this page. But you could easily put like a middle point here and say like the second half of this book is all of the things. So I'm just curious about why it was separated in this way, because it also seems like the stuff in book 1 and book 2 were created like at the same time. I don't know. Let's just take a look here. Okay, so what's in the book? Treacheries of the Troublesome Towns is made of 2 books. Tome 1 covers the basic and advanced rules to generate towns. Tome 2 holds the vast majority of the tables and the Book of Secrets, which holds secret information to be discovered. Again, bold, italicized, so I guess I can't say that I didn't know. You need both tomes 1 and 2 to play. In Tome 1, which you are reading right now, is divided into basic and advanced rules. 3 chapters in basic rules. Overview, generating towns, and then new rules. Save modifiers are grouped in the chapter to avoid repetition in the tables. Try a few games with the basic rules before using the advanced ones. And then there are situational rules in the advanced rules. That's chapter 4. More complex rules that cover things such as thieving actions, buying houses, commerce, marriage, etc. I know it's in that etc. And it rhymes with trumpet tree. Refer to that section only when the text directs you, or try advanced options. Chapter 5 is faction. So this is rules for bickering political factions, how to gain favor. 6 is vicious villains. 7 is weirder towns. And then you'll need Tome 2. Within that companion tome, you'll find the Book of Secrets, tables, and maps. All of the essential tables to generate towns are grouped in Tome 2 for convenience. Tome 1 has a few subtables. Yeah, okay. Now, I think I'm getting closer to what I want to say right here. I don't mind that there are 2 tomes. I don't mind. That's a choice. Here's what I think. They should be sold as one item. They should be sold as like a, you don't even have to put them in a box, but like put like Outcast Silver Raiders, which is just one of the most gorgeous non-solo books. I want it so bad, but I just don't have a reason to, so we're not going to do that this month. It comes in like a box that, you pull these out from the box. That's what I think the choice should have been made here, because if it is as it says it is, there's no point in buying the first book. It's like inert. Before you begin to play, get familiar with chapters 1 and 3. Plot hooks. Various sidebars throughout this book offer you color NPCs or plot hooks, which you can integrate into the narrative when desired. Use them as encounters, NPCs, vicious villains. Treacheries of the Troublesome Towns opens up many new ways to play 4AD. It was designed to provide you with the full range of options needed to play it as a full-fledged solo role-playing game. Whereas core 4AD focuses on dungeon crawls, TTT, Treacheries of Troublesome Towns, focuses on social simulation, urban plots, and crime. New paragraph, there is a lot in here. New paragraph, you don't have to use any or all of it. Pick and choose. See troubleshooting in chapter 3 when you run into situations. Oh my goodness. Am I getting demonetized because of this book? What is different from dungeon delving? You play Triple T like any dungeon. You move around a map, explore rooms, and interact. A key difference is that unprovoked aggression and theft will turn the law against you. Okay, if you attack the townsfolk, fight the guards, or steal before witnesses at least, you will be hunted, jailed, and possibly executed. Successful criminals don't get caught. Likewise, if you throw a fireball against a band of cutthroats, you may end up facing arson charges. Another important difference is that relations matter. In the advanced rules, you get faction points for helping groups and lose them for hindering them. Likewise, you receive alignment points when aiding a temple and its deity, and lose points when you displease the clergy. Interesting. Will you become exemplary citizens and heroes of the common folk, devious supporters of a noble house, blessed agents of the gods of law or chaos or any other, mercenaries who serve any cause, hunted criminals? All of this and more awaits you. And then it says it's a toy box. One of the strengths of 4AD is its simplicity, streamlined to the core. 4AD works well as an old school role-playing game. The possibilities offered by mixing supplements together are exponential. Even with just this book and 4AD, you'll have plenty enough for months of fun. It's a toy box, like plastic blocks. We give you consistent system that uses all the pieces, but you can as well break it down into its constituent parts and use them. That's a nice metaphor. Once you get the basics right, feel free to play around with the town generation system, mixing in other supplements. You could use it as an urban campaign or a filler between dungeons, a place to rest, stock your gold, live a few crazy moments. And then they say that they want you to consider like anything underground in the city is like dungeons. You could delve down there. Okay, so what hasn't been answered yet, and I don't know if it will be. I actually don't think it will be, but that's okay. Is there going to be those opportunities for pure role playing? Is there going to be those opportunities where I get inputs and can generate a conversation, or is everything going to be mechanical? Because again, it's not that I don't. It's a different experience. If it's mechanical like that, everything is mechanical. If you have a conversation and it's like, roll D6. If you roll 4 to 6, the bartender likes you. If not, they don't. Then my mind sees it as either like a game book or a board game. And I'm just not interested. And that's it. Like, I'm just not interested. Nothing more than that. No judgment or anything on it. Materials: 2 6-sided dice, pencil, at least one I never know how to say this. Quadrile sheet to draw your map, and paper to take your notes. Your quest log can be a notepad with map keys, a handwritten journal, or spiral bound. The easiest thing to do is give a reference number to each room you visit, and then note its characteristics. A lot can happen in a single town tile of just 35 squares. As such, a map of regular size 20 by 28 squares contains more rooms and events than a dungeon of the same size. This is interesting. There are no filler buildings. Every room you enter is unique. Exploring a town of many blocks will take a long time, but you don't have to explore all the buildings to explore another block. Move as you wish. Okay. 3 narrative laws. This book's premises rest upon venerable literary classics made manifest in 3 narrative laws implicit in the works of Vance, Fritz Leiber, and Tanith Lee. And so, summed up, Vance's law: everyone is a greedy, double-crossing, selfish poser. Lieber's law: all adventurers are spendthrift wastrels. Lee's law: all gods are uncaring bastards. So you start with entering a town. This looks very familiar. Starting town tile. Town gates. Walk the town. Decide on your party's path in the streets. You can only move horizontally or vertically to adjacent squares, never diagonally. Play icons. If a character crosses one, apply their effect. See map icons. In the advanced rules, hatches lead to the Undercity. Okay. Which is like the dungeon. Entering rooms. Whenever you enter a room, roll on a shop. So this isn't just... This is literally dungeon crawling through a town. This isn't like... You're not just generating a town, you're playing it. Oh, this is very nice. Hey, I'll tell you what. This is a real... this is just showing that 4AD, I think, is doing really well. Because... Sorry, my books are like teetering. They're all going to fall. If you look at a similar flowchart in the first book, which is a good flowchart, but you can just see that's like the kind of flowchart I would make. And now, look how far we've come. Pretty awesome. So it's just examples of how you'd walk the town. This is all generating the town. Hamlets, walled towns... Aristocrat icon. Let's see what we got here. You meet a group of aristocrats, rich, arrogant, and futile. Usually this icon appears inside a mansion. See mansion inhabitants. Roll their title below. Oh, okay, that's it. All right, this is all just... bringing up different rooms and what the icons are again. And if you haven't played 4AD, like there's just, you're using different letters and shapes to signify the presence of things on a map. All right, this is a playthrough. And if you're just joining us or looking over your husband's shoulder while you're drinking coffee, waiting until there's a break in the action so that you could mention to... don't forget that we have that thing after school today, and then you'll say, what thing? And say, you know, the thing we said, whatever, the thing. If you're just joining me in that capacity, I'm looking for anything that is going to allow me to alchemize things and create dialogues and scenarios. All right, NPC personality optional rules. To make NPCs stand out, write down one exploitable and one annoying idiosyncrasy or personality. Alternatively, write a list of adjectives, then roll. See below for examples: gullible, craven, uneducated, bigoted, prude, sanctimonious. Playing idiosyncrasy. When a party member attempts an action with or against an NPC with unique idiosyncrasies and the adjective feels relevant, add +1 to the save or roll. Deeper characterization. Adding details to an NPC is easy. Just ask a question and roll a d6. The higher the result, the more that you're liking. The lower, the least. 1 is awful, 2 is bad, 3 is a little bad, 4 is barely acceptable, 6 is awesome. You choose how to interpret the dice rolls, and you may even have 6 explode for fun. Make any adjustment you see fit for ethnicity, profession, etc. Suppose that your character, Beastly Betty, is looking for a suitor. You decide that she's looking for a tall, muscular man with musical aptitude. Upon meeting a shop owner, 4 questions thus arise. Is the NPC a man? 4. Yes, but barely. How big are his biceps? Lackluster. Is he tall? No, he's almost a dwarf. My God. Does he play music and roll a 6 and you reroll a 2 for a final 8? He's a respected bard. The NPC is more or less to Beastly Betty's taste. You can improvise any random answer to any question by using a d6. Okay. Quests. Yeah. So I mean, this is a lot of interesting. Like, again, I think I said this in the other video. There are some of you right now that is just like, wow, this is not only what I like, but it's a lot of what I like. That's awesome. Maybe if I were to play out a longer game of this, which I will play a longer game of this just to see if I like it. If I like it, I'll do a video on it. But I think that what would happen here is what happened with 4AD, which is that I was like, here's like, if there was a recording of me playing the first time I played 4AD, this is what it sounds like. Okay. All right. So that's, okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. End. That's what it sounded like the whole time. But I know for some of you, exploding 6s is like dopamine. It's like baby food to a baby. So, and that's awesome, right? Like, there's no reason why that can't be something you enjoy. And so, and then this looks like, my goodness, it looks like there's an incredible amount of customization here. Now here's troubleshooting, resolving ambiguity. We have a rule of cool. It's an open system. Don't get bogged down in details. Make rulings. Role-playing games can't have a pre-made answer for every possible option or interaction. Well, that's actually what I contend that 4AD does. It does it quite well. Mixing books and converting things not designed to be can be lots of fun. It also means you'll have to make rulings on things not covered. Yeah, so I think this does happen in games that are more procedural, like this, mechanical, is that there's sometimes like a fair bit of hand waving that happens. And it says, hey, you know, if you want to just kind of create a storyline or whatever, or, you know, make up a fair queen to give you your quest, and you want to know what that conversation looks like, and if, you know, then go for it. Go ahead. That's great. And it's like, well, there are entire books dedicated towards generating those types of conversations, because that would be, in a way, that's the sugar and spice of a really good solo TTRPG, is that it is giving you the tools to emulate the presence of an external GM. Now, here's what's interesting, though. We have alignments that has some sort of point system. I'm not sure if it's like chaotic, neutral, or whatever. Oh, okay. It's fire, ice, law, chaos, life, death, light, demons, living weapons, dragons, and war and peace. Earth, a 13th alignment exclusive to Father Hula, is not taken into consideration for these rules. So we got some different species going on here. We got Father Hula. Alliteration. benedictions. Some encounters will allow for the party to be blessed by a deity's boon. These effects last until the adventure is over. Yeah, that's another thing that sort of happens in mechanical solo games, is something where, and I think this is the opposite side of the hand waving, create whatever you want thing that happens, is sometimes they'll also say, like, they'll give you a superfluous role-playing, open-ended sandbox type role-playing task, and they'll say, saying a benediction gives you, yeah, right here, all party members receive the benefits of a blessing spell. All wounds are healed. And then there's a benediction of Furios, which attack rolls against humanoids. All rolls of 1 and 2 will count as 3. So there's all these mechanical things. And then they'll say, and hey, maybe you want to actually write that benediction. If you do, you can do that. And it's like, I know, of course I can, right? Like, I literally could I can rename my dog Benediction. I can bring Chartreuse to the vet and say, I need new tags because Chartreuse is now named Benediction. A whole section on buildings on fire. Tough choice having some of these words in the book here. Conversion from D20 to 4AD. Curses. Escher mazes. Yeah, okay. So lots of options here. Oh my god. Milking. Okay. Passive seduction. I'm just trying to see if maybe there's anything here that looks even close to what I'm thinking. I mean, don't get me wrong. This could lead to just based on the randomness, because I also mentioned in that video that sometimes with games, yes, I could read the book and know everything, but there's so many mechanics that there's, 10 times, 10 to the negative 25th or whatever options, and so it might as well be randomly generated. But the one, I forgot who commented. If you were the one who commented this, comment it again. But basically the comment was like, I wasted all of this money on 4AD trying to get one simple thing. The whole game could have been saved with adding a charisma stat. And I thought that was so interesting. And another thing that I think could make this more appealing to those who are oriented towards solo roleplay of my approach is having, rather than like having specific weapons, have it so that there are rules for creating weapons, or rather than having just like random and like lots of different NPC attributes, have it so that you give me the ingredients and I can make and name an NPC. But the weapons too, because I lose a lot of interest in a game when I know that I've capped out the cool stuff I'm going to get. This is usually what has me stop playing a game. For instance, every 3 or 4 years, I replay the greatest game ever made, which is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you. If you've ever played that game, you know what I'm talking about. What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. You need to watch that. Just write in a miserable pile of secrets in YouTube. Also, search in YouTube how to do the Heimlich maneuver on yourself if you're alone, okay? Everyone needs to know how to do that. I saw a movie where it happened when I was very little, and I started choking on a lifesaver about 10 years ago, and the only reason I saved myself is because I ran my diaphragmatic area into like a garbage can and it shot out of my throat. Try to find a couch, go over. I can't give medical advice on this channel. Please go look that up. I don't want any of you dying from choking alone. Bet you didn't think the video was going to go in this direction. I've just lost 600 viewers who now left my video to look up self-Heimlich maneuver. What's this? Toshi dice. Many gamers have unusual dice, such as 4-sided, 8-sided, 10-sided and 12-sided. Proponents of advanced geekery may yet wonder how to use even more unusual dice called Zoshi dice. Their inventors, such as 3-sided, I have Zoshi dice. 7-sided, have it. 11-sided, have it. D1, a marble, absolutely useless. How interesting, this section. That's funny. Okay. So yeah, again, I'm seeing lots and lots of options here. Some really interesting stuff. And oh man, it's really leaning into the strumpetry. Whoa, pocket lands, geomorph cards. That kind of looks cool. What is this? Good job, Andrea. I mean, this is like an incredible creation. I don't think, my hangups aside, who's going to deny that? So I can't really flip through this one because literally it has a warning here that says do not read these entries. And so I don't want to spoil anything, but I do think that in this book, that section that I just mentioned right there, that's like the first, I think, like that's not the whole book, but that's the book of secrets is right up front. So yeah, that's the first 28 pages, I think. So now we're going to see some of these tables here, and very much they look like the standard issue 4AD table. Lots of options, about as unique and intriguing as a table can get. I mean, every entry on this table has a full explanation. This is cool too. Tavern events, but if you wish, okay, an argument ends in an unarmed brawl. Roll on restless rabble table. Fight unarmed, -2 to attack rolls, or mark a murderer tick. So I guess like there is this actually sounds really cool. A system. This is keyword. And I guess if you check off a certain amount of keywords enough times, then you're wanted by the law. Wretched idiosyncrasies. Okay, that's what we talked about. This book actually looks a little bit more like something I would actually use just as an... I'm going to get demonetized from a 4AD book. It's got too many strumpetries. Okay, yeah. So this just looks like something I would use for bestiary and lots of awesome random tables. The jail table, marked for execution. Roll on the eerie execution table. All right, I might as well take a look at what the eerie execution table... Where is the eerie execution table? How do I find it? A lover sheet. A lover temperament table. See, even this would be brought more into what I'm looking for. Gosh, I just feel so bad saying all this because it just sounds like I'm being like, I just don't know any other way to talk about it. Like, oh, I wish it was like this. I wish it was like this. I'm trying to provide value here by explaining like what sort of experience this is. But I guess I need to stop comparing it to like what I want and just say what it is. Anyways, that aside, what I want is if there was even something in these tables. Okay, so this is not a good one, this lover temperament table. Let's say the tavern rumors table. Plot twists of the Baron table. Oh, let's look at this. The Baron's enemies, many enemies are at the gates. Activate an invasion event in Chapter 4 and apply the results. Should the Baron win and the invaders be of another ethnicity than his own, all townsfolk that ethnicity in town will suffer an eerie execution. Yeesh. I would maybe choose a different... I know that's not... I think that might be translation issue there, but I would maybe say that differently. Anyways, so what I would like there is to say one of the leaders emerges at the gate and he makes a statement. He wants something. What is it? and just have like the player character come up with that. And even if it has no mechanical implication, even if there's no keyword that has to be checked off, it just gives me a little bit of a chance to fit myself into the fiction. A highlight of 4AD, and I think it really comes through here, is that you'll see the rating of L here a lot, like L2 Vermin. And this does a really good job, this game, at escalating the challenge of the game, because a lot of stuff is paired to your level. So how difficult the encounters are, maybe even like cost of things. If it says L, you will, like base that off of your level. Let's try a quest. Bring me boxed souls. The shopkeeper closes the door, eyes you warily, and then whispers, I'm looking for soul cubes, no questions asked. If a villain is active, the quest giver always belongs to their faction. Okay. I want you to seduce my rival's wife so that I can claim his children artists and deny this is some dwarf fortress stuff. So I think the keyword thing offers some interesting options here, because that is really something that that makes the progression of the game go in a very different direction. I sort of NPC faces subtable. I almost wonder if this is like almost too much. I'm wondering if anyone has played this game, if they feel as though they're able to get like the full experience of it, because I almost wonder if this is too much customization. I mean, they say you don't feel like you have to use all of it, but okay. Well, anyways, that is Treacheries of Troublesome Towns, Tome 1 and 2 by Eric Bouchard and Andreas Filagoy. Let's leave on some high notes. Number 1, this game is 100 times better than sitting around and scrolling on TikTok. Number 2, the art in this game, I consider it to be, for the most part, there's some inconsistencies, really good, and a big upgrade from 4AD, which had, I feel like, some kind of distracting artwork in it. Number 3, tons and tons of options. If this is your thing, you are going to be in puppy dog heaven, because there is literally no shortage of options and choices that you are going to be able to have. If you're looking for a longer term campaign, if you're looking to world build, if you're a solo player that just needs some interesting tables and some interesting, or a GM looking to set up a town and inhabit everything in that town with living characters that you could draw upon and reference, this seems like an awesome game for you. The cost itself is not too bad. I think if you buy both the tomes, it might be around $40. And this is definitely a labor of love. So much has gone into this. I didn't even get into the map making parts, which are probably where this is going to shine the most. So if you enjoyed 4AD, if you enjoy anything that is procedurally generated, if you're not interested in the things I talked about, like coming up with conversations and things like that, which a lot of people are not, then this is likely one of the best games you're going to see this year. So go ahead and pick up Triple T, Treacheries of the Troublesome Towns, Tome 1 and Tome 2. And thanks for stopping by. Oh, by the way, we just reached 100 members. So welcome. And I'm going to update this outro to reflect the new family that we have. Thank you to everyone who is a member. I think that you make me feel like a natural YouTube creator. Thank you. I don't know if I had to say all that. Do you think I went overboard with that? Nah, I shouldn't worry about it. It's just I need to work on just saying just enough. What's the just enough thing to say, you know? Oh, crap.